good morning to you, good morning to you. Mark Conte reporting. How are you, man? How's everybody doing? October, wow, Oktoberfest, October 26th, the year is 2022. We are still here approaching the very, very, very interesting and volatile midterm elections here in America, where every 2 years we have these things. Every 4 years we pick a presidential pick. You got to laugh when you say elections in America. Are they really? Are they really elected by the people? Nonetheless, on November 8th, we're going to have another one, and there is a very, very heated and contested spot right now for the Senate seat here in the great state of Pennsylvania, which I happen to be interestingly part of and able to go to the corner and cast a vote. I'll be voting on November 8th, I believe I will, for the big race there is for Fetterman versus Oz for a Senate seat. And they had a debate last night, and it looks like Fetterman is a fucking, like a walking vegetable. Now, he had a stroke in May, and he's kind of like a fat, punchy-looking guy with tattoos and a goatee, right? He's the deputy governor of the state prior to his stroke. But he had a stroke, and he can't seem to sew, a full sentence together. It looks like he's having severe mental problems. So it does look like, at this point, the odds of a Republican stealing the Senate seat in Pennsylvania is very, very likely. That's Dr. Oz. Now, I don't know much about Dr. Oz, but I do know when someone, melts down like that, that's a big deal. Usually swings the other way. Also, there's I'm going to continue with this the MO of a shooter. So the kid, 19-year-old kid, black youth kid from that high school that he came back and shot up yesterday, shot the teacher, shot a 15-year-old girl, and blew a bunch of rounds into the into the classroom. It was mixed. There's mixed reviews of what this kid was and what he perceived himself as being. So he left a manifesto, which is always good. The next day they released the manifesto. He saw himself as a loner, as a kid with no friends and no family and no girl. But it turns out that that's not how he was perceived at all, at least by one of his professors, a teacher at the school. She saw him as a very social, interesting young man. So I don't know. Again, we're delving into the psyche of young kids, right? New York City has a homeless problem with kids. Kids homeless. They live in shelters at an early age. Now, you're going to tell me that a 14-year-old kid made a decision to be homeless? No. That's a bad family. Right? There's no mama cat or papa cat taking care of that kid. Right? He just got pushed out the nest, right, and landed on. Luckily, when his egg cracked, he got up and he walked away, but he had nowhere to go because Mama and Papa Bird pushed him out. Right? So we'll look at that story too. Market's getting walloped. Google, the great Google, of which YouTube is a founding, Google is the owner of this very platform, got crushed, missed earnings by the expectation was, I think, 123 per share. They came in at 105 or something like that. And bang, Google set to open down about 6%. And if Google is not making the money that they were making or were expected to make, that means that there's a lot more reporting in that direction to come. What is Apple going to report? What is Facebook going to report? What is the holy Microsoft going to report? Looks like, well, it doesn't necessarily mean that things will go down further, down. But Q3 is not looking good for big tech in America. So maybe we are at a shaking out point where big tech better turn around and start treating their people better, namely, content providers, right? They with the whole censorship thing. So we'll look at some of the markets later on, and try to make heads or tails. Oh shit! I'm sorry, my reverb was on. So sorry about that. I didn't realize I had it on. I left it on from yesterday. Marcus, the reverb is on. All right, I got it, man. I got it. I didn't. I have a button. I have a knob. It's a reverb knob. Like right now, I'm speaking clear, but here's where it was. Much apology for that. Hey, I don't know. First 5 minutes is reverb. So anyway, I was talking about Oz and such. We'll jump right into that. Thank you everybody for joining me. Thank you for saving me on that one. Vinny DiMartini in the house. And everybody else that's here. Zoot Suit Cooter is here as well. And everybody else. So let's go on. This is my thumbnail today. This is a part. I usually check it, and I didn't. I kick myself when I make a mistake like that. I hate that. I usually check it before I get going, but I caught it. Weesty is here too. Thank you, Weesty. This is part of the young man's manifesto, the 19-year-old who shot up the school yesterday. I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had a social life. I've been an isolated loner my entire life. This was the perfect storm for a mass shooter. Ooh, calling himself a mass shooter. Wow. So young 19-year-old black man, he's a man, right? Goes back to his high school. This is his high school picture. And he went back there and blasted the fucking school up. And this is what he said. But it turns out that there's people at the school that really didn't see him that way at all. So we're going to look at these stories. Again, my name is Marcus Conte. I got a website, and usually the streams are pretty good, but today we got off to a rough start. I hope you're still here if you're watching on other social media platforms. We fixed the problem. And I can't. The other thing is I can't hear the audio because I don't monitor it. I don't have a headset on right now. Somewhere along the line I dropped it. I don't use it anymore. But anyway, we're here every morning at 9 a.m. We're live right now on YouTube, and if that should change, it looks like Google's circling the toilet right now. And let's see if they keep censoring in light of the fact that they're going broke or making a lot less money. Or if we're not here, we're over at D Live every morning. If we're not here, just come to marcusconti.com, and right over here, next live show, 9 a.m. Right now, you see the link up for YouTube. If not here, if not at YouTube, we'll be at D Live and doing the live show, same platform, same everything. Also, if you're watching on Rumble, Odyssey, BitChute, Facebook, Twitter, Getter, Truth Social, where you're watching the rerun, and every morning I post the live shows right here for your watching enjoyment. So let's start here. Amazing. New York Post catches this footage captures wild shootout between two groups in the Bronx. Now watch this shit, man. This is happening on a Bronx city street. Watch this. Kid jumps out of the car. Yo, man, what's up, man? Yo, where's my nigga, man? He's got his gun in his hand. Boom, bang, shot at him, right? He knew he came out looking for trouble. He came out looking for trouble, and they were fucking riddling the motherfucker with bullets, man. Riddling his Jeep. Watch again. Yo, what's up, man? Let's go get the nigga, man. Let's shoot the nigga, man. Shoot that nigga. Where's the nigga? Oh, there he is. Oh, shooting at me. Oh, the fuck is shooting at me? What the fuck is shooting at me? A lot of bullets flying, right? A lot of bullets flying. What kind of gun does he have? Looks like he's got a little right there. It's got a little pea shooter handgun and probably a 9mm, right? But watch again, man. That's a scary thing, right? You happen to be walking by on the street, no suspects, nobody found. They got the license plate, right? What is this? It looks like a R blah blah blah. I don't know what kind of plate that is. Maybe it's a fake plate. I don't know. But driving a little Jeep. And, he's putting his gun, bang, boom, bang. I can watch that all day long because it's real. It's really happening, you know. Fucking crazy shit. Bing, bang, look, dropped the window. Bullet went right through the window. There was another guy sitting in there. I wonder if he's dead. Now, this is a kind of an ugly story. You might not agree, but I see it as a lot of ugliness to this one. Protesters violently clash over drag queen story time at Oregon pub. Now, I see when I see drag queens, I see funny. When big, brawly, fat, hairy-chested men dress like women, I think it's funny, you know. And they're talking like this. They're talking like they're women. It's funny. I mean, I'm a New Yorker. I'm New York City. I grew up in New York and spent most of my adult life in Lower Manhattan. And to me, drag queens are funny, right? But these folks out there in Oregon didn't see it that way. They see it as a corruption of their youth. Now, the show was a storytime show for kids, apparently. Here's the imagery coming out. Armed protesters and counter-protesters clashed outside a drag queen storytime event at an Oregon pub over the weekend. More than 300 demonstrators hurled rocks and smoke grenades at each other outside Old Nick's pub in Eugene as a group gathered inside to read a story. Now, first of all, why are you having a children's event at a pub? Why is it, what are you having? You invite your kids to a pub? Kids. And what are you teaching them? Oh, let's hang out at the bar when you're 9 years old, 11 years old. Right? Are we promoting alcoholism, maybe? You know, I don't like that idea. It could have been done at any other school. It could have been done at a theater. Why a pub? But the pub was the latest target of LGBTQ plus hate after right-wing personalities complained about an 11-year-old drag performer called Vanillup, who was expected to perform. Now, the 11-year-old, it turns out, didn't perform. Authorities said the crowd lobbed rocks and some smoke bombs at one another before police shut the event down. Now, here you go, right? Big, fat. She's wearing some kind of, that's a he, wearing some kind of fake fucking, get-up. But here you go, man. Big, fat, brawly men. They're all men, right? Men behaving like women, telling stories, right? Now, of course, if you're from New York, gay men are smarter than everybody else. Even if you ask them, there is a very, very higher IQ amongst gay men. Did you know that? At least the ones that I met. They're always very smart, very articulate, a little bit forthright, but usually, generally, very successful and very smart. Here's the deal, right? Come on, man. This is not harmful to kids. If kids are laughing and having a good time, I was a kid's performer for a very short period of time. I played guitar, and I played kiddie music to kids. And whenever I pick up a guitar, kids laugh at me, right? So I can identify with playing and performing to kids. Kids like this sort of thing. Why is why is why is the woman? Why does she have such big hands? And why such a deep voice? The kid asks. So what? Come on, man. It's not a big deal, right? Lighten up, Oregon. Lighten up, protesters. No one, these are all, you know what these are? These are all insecure men. They're just, they have small penises and no, no ugly, no women want to touch them, right? And they're resentful, right? They think that because a man dressed like a woman performing to a kid, the man, by the way, dressed up like a woman performing to the kid, the drag queen, is probably a lot smarter than you, and more, has more to offer in terms of the arts. But the only objection I would take there is, come on, man. People are people, right? If a guy wants to dress up like a woman, look, I've done it. What about rock and roll, right? How about these guys? Here's the point. I just got the point, right? So take all of these real men, right? Well, they're real men. Oh, we're real men. Do you ever listen to the band Queen? Have you ever enjoyed Motley Crue or Poison? Guess what? Those are drag queens, man. Poison was dressed in drag. Queen, the name of the band, Queen, was a outward gay man, Freddie Mercury. You're going to stop listening to Queen because of your stupid ideology or your insecurity? I bet also, I'll say this too, I bet a lot of these, this guy's got a Trust Jesus jacket on. Yeah, we could trust Jesus, but I don't think Jesus would want to come out and bash a bunch of entertainers, because you don't like the way they're dressed. I bet you a lot of these, I bet a lot of these guys in this audience, not the drag queens, but a lot of these guys with the signs, I bet they are closet homosexuals, and they just can't. I'm gonna go out. I'm not a homosexual. Did you call me a homosexual? Who said I'm a homosexual? I'm not gay. I just don't have a girlfriend because I'm ugly and I'm fat. I'm gonna go to the rally and I'm gonna protest against the drag queens promoting drag to kids. Kids are smarter than you, right? So that's my take on it. I know people might not agree, but I don't. Bad for kids. Grooming, says James Lopez. I disagree. Yeah, it's okay to disagree. I get your point, and I just open your mind to the possibility that some of what I'm saying might be true. That I don't know. I think why don't you go protest the Ukraine fucking embassy, or surround the fucking Congress again, sending $500 million or how many billions of dollars being sent over to Ukraine to kill Russians? That's something to protest. Not an event in a public pub with paying people, paying pedestrians, right? Patronage, right? Dragging your kids to a pub, I disagree with that. I don't like that. I don't like the setting being in a pub for kids. But as far as drag queen, I don't know. So there you go, man. So I don't know. I've dressed in drag. I've done it as in a band. There's a picture on my wall of me and my friends with long hair. Well, it's not necessarily drag. I guess there's a fine line between what is drag, what is a man looking like a woman, or what is a man. Hold on a second. Since this is a hotly contested subject right here. All right, here's my picture, right? Here we are. Here's Marcus Conte. Right? I can't get the whole thing in the picture, right? So there we are, right? This is 1991. That's me with the dildo on his head right here. That's my boy Johnny Eggs, right? And we all have long hair. The drummer's wearing a dress. Right? I'm in my fucking Speedo. Right? It's rock and roll, man. It's performance. Right? Now, the other fascinating thing is that what you might not realize is that a lot of drag queens are not really gay. You remember RuPaul? You know RuPaul, the black drag queen, right? A very famous drag queen. He's not gay. It's a gig. It's a gig, man. So anyway. So there you go. What else we got? Should we get captured? Yeah. So I'm gonna move on. Thank you very much. We disagree. Sometimes we disagree. Pundits stunned by painful Fetterman performance in PA Senate debate. Now, when I saw the article, I thought, oh, that's just the New York Post bashing Fetterman. But man, you listen to him stumble. Whoo-wee! All right, so this is Fetterman. He's the deputy governor of the state of Pennsylvania, sitting deputy governor of the state of Pennsylvania. If Wolf, the governor, dies, this guy's the governor. And he's running for Senate, and he's running against a talk show guy, a very, astute, smooth-talking Mr. Oz. Now, I didn't watch the performance, but I did catch a little bit of it. Let's watch. I think Zero Hedge did a better job of putting the clips up. Oz odds of winning PA soar after historic Fetterman debate meltdown. So everybody's calling it a meltdown. Let's listen.
As lieutenant governor, you're running for a seat that could decide the balance of power in Washington. What qualifies you to be a U.S. senator? You have 60 seconds.
Hi, good night, everybody. I'm running to serve Pennsylvania. He's running to use Pennsylvania.
So he starts out by saying good night. I don't know if that's a good idea, but he's a bit of a meathead. Let's continue. There's more clips up. I didn't watch the whole thing. Honestly, I didn't watch the whole thing.
Mr. Fetterman, I will allow a 15-second rebuttal. He has specifically said you have not paid your taxes and that you want to raise taxes on Americans. How do you respond?
Absolutely. The Oz rule, of course, he's lying. It was helping two students 17 years ago to help them, buy their own homes. They didn't pay the bills, and it got her paid, and it has never been an issue in any of the campaign before. It was all about nonprofit.
So he's not making any sense whatsoever. What is he talking about?
All right. Thank you, Mr. Fetterman.
He doesn't make sense. So he had a stroke in May. He wasn't always, fucking fucked up.
Primary. Last week, you released this note from your doctor saying you can work full duty in public office, but you have not released your detailed medical records surrounding your stroke. Mr. Fetterman, will you pledge tonight to release those records in the interest of transparency? You have 60 seconds.
No. To me, for transparency is about showing up. I'm here today to have a debate. I have, speeches in front of 3,000 people in Montgomery County, all across Pennsylvania, big crowds. I believe if my doctor believes that I'm fit to serve, and that's what I believe is appropriate. And now with 2 weeks before the election, I have run a campaign, and I've been very transparent about being very open about the fact we're in use captioning. And I believe that, again, my doctors, the real doctors that I believe in, they all believe that I'm ready to be served.
Follow up. I didn't hear you say you would release your full medical records. Why not? You have 30 seconds.
No. Again, my Dr. L believes that I'm fit to be serving, and that's what I believe is where I'm standing.
So he's not. He had a massive stroke, and he won't release his medical records. That's a disqualifier right there. Moderator, are there any Biden policy positions that you disagree with?
Follow-up question on this. Our Next Star poll shows 51% of Pennsylvania voters disapprove of the president's job performance. You have publicly supported many of his policy positions. Are there any that you disagree with? 30 seconds.
Long pause.
No, I just believe he needs to do more about supporting and fighting about inflation. And I do believe he can do more about that.
Wow, this guy, he's fried. He's fried. So, I don't know. I think Oz has got it, man. Dr. Oz.
Loves free money when it's a $500,000 tax break on one of his, homes down in a ranch in Florida. And whether it was a $50 tax break, about his farm in Montgomery County. So it's about supporting and helping, young earners, young students to give them a break. I believe that supporting Dr. Oz, loves free.
Wow, this guy's bad news, man. Let's just one more.
How critical it is that we produce our own energy and create.
Uh-huh. Uh-oh.
I must correct the record.
Just a second, Mr. Oz. I do want to clarify something. You're saying tonight that you support fracking, that you've always supported fracking, but there is that 2018 interview that you said, quote, I don't support fracking at all. So how do you square the two?
Answer the question, motherfucker.
I do support fracking, and I support fracking, and I stand and I do support fracking.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fetterman.
I'm sorry, Lisa, but there's not just a statement you.
Wow, the guy's going off, man. What's this? So there it is. There you have it. There's some clips for the good Pennsylvania run.
And let's also talk about the elephant in the room. I had a stroke. He's never let me forget that.
Yeah, you're not letting us forget it either, man. You're out of your mind, bro.
And I might miss some words during this debate, mush two words together, but it knocked me down, but I'm going to keep coming back up.
Should abortion be banned in America? 60 seconds.
I support on Roe v. Wade. That was the law of the land for 50 years. He celebrated when it fell down, and I would fight to reestablish on Roe v. Wade. That's what I run on. That's what I believe, and I've always believed that the choice belongs women and their doctors, and he believes that the choice should be with him or Republican legislators all across this nation.
Republican governors in the South have been sending migrants to Democratic-run cities and states without a plan or without any coordination. It is certainly gaining a lot of attention, but is it an effective way to deal with the influx of migrants? You have 60 seconds.
I believe we need a comprehensive and bipartisan solution for immigration. That's what I believe. I don't ever recall in the Statue of Liberty did they say, take our tired, huddled masses and put them on a bus and use.
He said, I don't recall seeing it in our Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty.
Solution for immigration. That's what I believe. I don't ever recall in the Statue of Liberty did they say,
I've never been in the Statue of Liberty. Maybe he has. Right? It's a statue, you idiot.
Take our tired, huddled masses and put them on a bus and use cheap political.
So I think it's only
James May for state representative.
It's not only prevalent, this particular race in Pennsylvania, because I get to vote in it, but it's that the balance of power in the Senate is hanging by a thread. All right, so if Oz wins and one other, if the Republicans flip even one more seat, that's it. All right, the Senate goes the way of Republican. Right? Mitch McConnell will be the come right back in. Now, if you say, I believe in Pennsylvania, if you say you're for fracking, you might win some points. If you say you're for restoring Roe v. Wade, making abortion legal again federally, you might lose some points. So on the issues, he's a far leftist kind of Democrat, right? He's a lefty Democrat underneath Wolf. So I would say, without having to flip a coin or go too far in, I would say Oz wins. Dr. Oz will probably become the next sitting senator, unless again, Democrats control the bowels of Congress and the laws here in Pennsylvania. So, Don't rule it out, man. Don't rule it out. If they want Fetterman, they'd rather have a vegetable than get a guy than a Republican. They'll take the vegetable over the Republican. So somebody points out in the chat that if he had a massive stroke, he'd be a vegetable. But they are saying he had a pretty severe stroke. Suffered a stroke. Let's see what the condition of the stroke. Leading Dem PA Senate candidate John Fetterman suffers stroke. Full recovery. He is on his way to a full recovery. He's 52 years old, still a young man. I had a stroke that has caused me a clot from my heart being in the AFib rhythm for too long, Fetterman said. He said the doctors were able to remove the clot, reversing the stroke. Now, you don't reverse a stroke. If it's in your head and brain damage occurs, it doesn't come back. It takes years, maybe never. Right? The good news is I'm feeling much better, and the doctors tell me I didn't suffer any cognitive damage. I don't know about that, man. Your performance on the stage shows the opposite. Definitely signs of cognitive debilitation there. Fetterman, who is 6'8", wow, weighs in at 400 pounds. Oh, he weighed 400 and he lost 150, so he's down at 250. Wow, he's a fat guy. That's why you had a stroke, man. That's why you had a stroke. So we'll see, man. We'll see. So I just want to talk about briefly. Now, I don't want to get too winded into this because I don't know why. I'm already out of breath. And thank you everybody in the chat for running for being here. Right? Even when I feel like I had a stroke. I had a stroke. St. Louis school shooter Orlando Harris pictured in eerie yearbook photo as new details emerge. So yesterday we talked about the shooter over there in St. Louis, Missouri, and we didn't have a profile of the kid. We speculated that there was maybe, some kind of mental disorder or whatever. And it turns out that there was really no signs of that at all. Some people speculate that it's some kind of MLK fucking, shit. Some ongoing fucking CIA mission to weaponize kids using drugs. I don't know. Everything's on the table, right? So the isolated loner, quote, isolated loner teenager who killed 2 people at the St. Louis high school was captured in an eerie yearbook photo looking sullen and expressionless. Sullen and expressionless? I don't know. He's like a typical hood. Right? Is she sullen and expressionless? No, she's got a smirk. This is a smile. See, black people, this is how you smile. This is what a smile looks like. Smile. This is the clip, right? So he wrote, this is Orlando Harris, 19, left a manifesto note in his car before storming Central Visual and Performing Arts High School with an AR-15 style rifle and at least 600 rounds of ammo. Wow. So he went in there to kill, man. 600 rounds of ammo. Police got there in 3 minutes and killed him. So he didn't do much damage in the 3 minutes. But look at this. The other observation is Central Visual and Performing Arts High School. Why don't you go have the drag fucking event at the Visual and Performing Arts High School? Right? Why not? Why'd you do it in a pub? But this is what he said. He wrote, quote, I don't have any friends. I don't have any family. I've never had a girlfriend. I've never had a social life. I've been an isolated loner my entire life. This was the perfect storm for a mass shooter. Right? That's what the commissioner said about the manifesto note that Harris left behind. Right? the commissioner suggested the motive was that Harris, quote, feels isolated. He feels alone, quite possibly angry and resentful of others who have, it appears to him, to have healthier relationships. So a desire to lash out. A desire to lash out. Look, you see, you're in New York. Look at I'm in Pennsylvania. John Fetterman, well in his 40s. His main source of income came from his parents. They're trying to make him a mama's boy. Crazy Fetterman. So I got a stack of anti-Fetterman shit that comes in my mailbox. I throw it out. I should have brought it up. I should have brought it up for show and tell. But I'll dig some out of the garbage tomorrow, and we'll have a look at it. But here's the kicker on this one. Here's the right. This is how he sees himself, right? This is how he sees himself. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have family. I don't have any friends. Right? But that's not how he was seen, right? So just, and I'll tell you in a second. He had 7 magazines of ammunition on his chest ring, lots and lots of bullets. He terrified students, right? Now, where's the clip? Alexander, she had students, and there's a piece here where we talk about. So here's the comment that changes my mind about it. Lauren Ogundip, the school's teacher, theater director, and teacher of theater arts, told the St. Louis Dispatch that Harris, the shooter, was a helpful and talkative teen, passionate about the theater department. Now, wait a second. That kind of contradicts, it contradicts his own perception and or his own writing about himself, doesn't it? I see myself as a loner. I never got any girl. I never got my family. I didn't have a family. I'm a loner. Right? That's how he sees himself. But that's not how he was perceived, right? According to at least his theater director teacher. So the kid's an actor. He wanted to be an actor. He goes to the school like, the equivalent of Juilliard for performing arts. Helpful, talkative teen, passionate about theater department. Quote, this is the teacher reporting about the shooter. He would laugh and joke with members of his graduating class, the teacher said. He would talk with different teachers. He would talk about his social life. He didn't really talk about his home life. He would talk about girls he was interested in. Typical, seems like normal teen. The shooter worked backstage for the department. So there, he was employable. Stage managing and handling lighting and sound performances. So he wasn't a vegetable. He was able to interact with people. Hardly the MO. Well, is there really a shooter MO? It does seem something clicked in this kid. I would like to see his psychotropic profile. What kind of pills was this kid swallowing? What was in the blood, man? What was in the toxicology? You got his toxicology. You shot holes in him. Reveal the toxicology so we could see what was in the kid's. Was he smoking angel dust? Did he just shoot a hit of meth and flipped out? Did he go down to the dispensary and get the best fucking highest THC weed and smoke the whole fucking bottle in one shot, in one big inhale, and lose his mind? All right, what's in the toxicology? Let's find out. She says he was helpful. He showed himself as a helpful servant of the school. If something was needed, a skill he'd obtained in the arts, he showed himself as ready, willing, and able to lend a hand. If something needed to be moved physically, he would show up on his own without being asked. So there's a contradiction here. There's some kind of thing that doesn't add up. Now, what are we hiding here? Why does and it's not conspiracy theory. I'm giving you the evidence. I'm giving you the evidence of what the kid said, how he perceived himself in his own manifesto, as opposed to how he was perceived in his community. We don't have any other statements from kids around him because one of them is dead, and no kid is going to go on the record and say, yeah, oh, he was a nice guy and he shot the fucking girl next door. So that's not going to happen. But one brave teacher did brave it and say, well, this is what I observed in Mr. Harris. So it does. This is how conspiracies start. Everything is a conspiracy. There is now evidence on the table that this kid was, something was different. Something different happened to him in that 1 year from leaving school to the time he got into this situation. What is it? It's not even a year later. If he graduated last year in May, he had a good summer, and now he's alumni, and he comes back with an AR-15 and 600 rounds to blast the school up. What happened in that interim? Where's his doctor report? Where's the fucking toxicology, right? I'm not defending a killer. Right? It could be he just snapped. People snap all the time. They go click and boom, 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 right? Shit happens, right? So anyway, I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. Truth Lady says, I've seen many young black and Hispanic men who are medicated young being triggered. Yeah. Look, there's no doubt about it. When you're medicated, there's a side effect, man. It's inescapable. You consume substances, whether it's, weed or alcohol or tobacco or caffeine or a lot of sugar, and you stop, and you will experience a side effect, a kickback, right? And you will get triggered, right? You're way more irritable. You're way more discontent, right? And then you try to go back and visit that. Like, you hear that with alcoholics. They go back, I had a drink, right? They're doing well, right? Stop drinking. A year later, I'm doing fantastic. I had an overwhelming desire to drink. They drink, and they take their car and they crash it into the car in front of them, killing everybody in the car, waking up in prison, not knowing what happened. So yes, drugs trigger aggression, irritation, fatigue, incredible mood swings. Up, I'm way up. And then you're way down. Right? That's all drugs ever do. Drugs, look, anybody who thinks that drugs, like you hear people say, oh, like Timothy Leary. Timothy Leary was a meditator, but other people that followed Timothy Leary showed up out of their fucking mind and said, okay, I'll take 10 hits of acid and then I'll be enlightened too. No, that's not what it is. Timothy Leary and people like Timothy Leary used it as a performance enhancement. They knew what they were doing. They knew the objective of the substance before they got into it. For example, the baseball example of guys like Barry Bonds, who was an outstanding home run hitter and found a way using a mind and mood altering and physical altering substance, steroid, to enhance his performance. But that's not a given, right? That's a misconception about meds, I believe. So the jury is still out. I would say we need to see a autopsy, and that last page. The last page of every autopsy of this nature will have the executive toxicology, where we will see the fucking profile of what was in his blood. Was it this, that, and the other thing, or was there nothing in there? Where's the doctor? Where is the doctor? That's my suspicion right there. What else can we find out about this? So yeah, there's a picture of his. He knew what he was doing with guns. He had lots of magazines and lots of bullets. He had a nice gun, an AR-15 looking gun. Where's his gun? Show us the gun. Where's the gun, man? Where's the gun? The gun is somewhere. I want to see the gun. Ah, there's the gun. There, my friends, is the gun. That's a good looking gun, right? Is that a good gun or a bad gun? I don't know. I don't know guns, man, but it looks like, to me, it looks like a pistol with a long nose and well, isn't that what rifles are? Rifles are just, long handguns. It's got a handle, right? Instead of carrying that, why don't you teach kids to carry this? My weapon has I got a weapon, and it has a handle too, right? You see the handle? My keyboard, right? I walk in like this, man. I walk into the school like this. I'm ready. I'm ready to tear the place up, man. I'm going to tear it up, man. And I go, right? We're teaching our kids the wrong thing, man. Teach them to carry teach them to carry a fucking, put handles on, and we're worried about, children going to watch, a bunch of fucking hairy men in drag read stories to kids. Come on, man. And this article too. New York City sees spike in number of homeless public school students. That's a tragedy right there. In many countries outside of America, many what we call third world countries, you do see homeless children. I've been to Thailand many times. You can walk the streets of Bangkok and you could see an 8-year-old or 6-year-old child sitting on the floor with a begging cup outside, dirty. Right? At least we don't see that in America. But we got them stuffed away in homeless shelters. Now look at the statistics. I didn't know this. This is pretty staggering. The number of homeless students in New York City public schools saw a spike last year. Okay? There were 104,000 city school kids without stable housing, an increase of 3.5%. More than 29,000 students spent time in shelters last year, while nearly 5,500 were considered unsheltered, staying in cars, parks, abandoned buildings, and other unlivable places to call home. Now, right there, that is a tragedy. When you look at where they are, the highest concentration is in none other than the South Bronx. South Bronx was the highest. That's a predominantly all black neighborhood. Temporary. Where is it? It was the South Bronx. I saw it. New spike in Queens, also in Bushwick, Brooklyn, which is half homeless kids and half hipsters living, going there for a cheap rent. But it's troubling with kids, right? I draw the line there. Although it didn't bother me to see them being entertained by drag queens, because you know why? I'm going to go back to that story because I know it irritates some people in the audience, but not really. But drag queens, right? I can without even seeing the show, I would guarantee that there's nothing in that show with a bunch of old men dressed like women that is really, really bad for kids, right? There's nothing. They're not out there saying go out and be a fucking, go out and shoot up your school. They're not. I would rather have my kid sit and laugh in front of a bunch of drag queens than go to listen to Jay-Z talk about going to the projects with a gun and shooting the motherfucker up. They shoot the nigga, right? That's how I see it. So So let's look at the markets. They are open and wing, wang, boom. All right. So Google had a really bad day yesterday. Google is down $8 a share, or 8%. Whoo! Whoo! Amazon down 4%. Wow. Apple down 1.5%. Amazon's down $5 a share. Google down $8 a share. Google parent company also down $8 a share. Facebook down $4 a share. Microsoft down 7.5%, down $19 a share. Oh my God, getting crushed. There's a crushing going on in big tech right now. Why? Because they missed the earnings. All of that is a trickle down effect of Google missing earnings by not much. What was the miss? What was the miss? Google stock is screamingly crap as it could get cheaper. They have no mercy, these guys writing this shit. I don't know what it was, but it was a miss. Come on, what's the miss, man? Give me the miss. It was the difference between the street expecting $1.32 per share, and it got like $1.03 a share, right? So it got crushed. But anyway, man, so there you go, man. I don't know what else to say today. My name is Marcus Conte. Again, I apologize for the earlier reverb glitch. And, have a good day, man. Happy Wednesday to you. Thank you, everybody in the chat, for sharing. Thank you, Vinny DiMartini, for your moderation. And thank you for bearing with me with, my shortcomings, which I have many.